Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 14, part 3 of doing a pastel portrait of a young lady. Yeah. If you do not have the Vinci app, I do have promo codes that you can try the app for free for a year. And with me doing live videos, it's a great opportunity for learning. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get started. Let me just turn on the volume on this so I can hear the back. So this is what we have so far. We're going to be working on the chin and the neck. Hopefully get that all done today, and then we can work on the hair next. What you're going to need is, you're going to need soft pastel pencils or chalk pastel, and then pastel bricks, and erasers. Knead eraser and electric eraser will be helpful too, and mono eraser. Blending stumps, something to clean the blending stumps with, and a handheld pencil sharpener for the pencils. Extra pieces of paper, one to rest your hand on and one to test colors out / make powder. Okay, and another thing that you're going to want to use is, if you don't have a print would work too. If you don't have a print of the reference photo, you can just pull it up into a photo editing app so you can see the different colors in the areas that you're coloring. You could also pick colors so you can see more clearly on what color it is, if that's what you want to do, if you're having a hard time seeing subtle differences. Okay, we're going to work on the chin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our white pastel brick. I'm just going to clean it off a little bit. And we're going to just cover it so that it's easier to erase extra colors if needed to, and it's easier to blend. I need to erase this line here. Just erase it to the point where you are, like, it's barely noticeable, but you still see it. I'm just pushing it in with my finger. There's going to be some artists that are going to be mad at me for doing that, but I find that it helps get the pastel to stick on the paper. I am using mixed media paper, but I highly recommend using pastel paper for doing pastel drawings. Putting on the strobe feature. And I'm going to work on the outline of the face. I'm going to do green and red for this part, because it makes it look more realistic if you do that. And just outlining the face. think we're looking for red. Just to go over top of that. Makes a nice dark brown. And then I'm going to work on the shadow next to the left side of the lip, which is also brown, but I want to use red and green for this. Just going in circular motions. You could use the bricks if you want. I just want a little bit more control. I tend to lean towards using smaller tools because I like control. I'm going to bring out my tan or peach color and clean that off too. Just a little trick is if you don't have the box anymore for storing your soft pastels, store them in something with some rice, and the rice will keep them clean. Is this even going? Let me just see something. Yeah, okay. Sorry, every time I look at the screen, I see myself, and I don't think you guys really want to see that. I think you guys really want to see the process. Too bad I can't just pause on the face. It just automatically rotates. So I'm using red and green again for the shadow that's just under the lip. So it does look really weird right now, but the red will neutralize that and make it turn brown. And I am trying to drag it out a little bit. So like more color just underneath and then spreading it out a little bit with lighter pressure. And I'm just doing some circular motions. And then I'm blending. And again, just using a little bit of green and red just to kind of connect those two shadows that we made. It's not as dark as the ones we've already done, so we're just putting a little bit of pressure on there. Circular motions. And a little bit of red to neutralize that green. You don't need a lot of green, just a little bit. And blend. I have my chat running, so if you guys have any questions during the live, don't hesitate to ask away or just chat with me. I see that the lips are a little bit higher than what I drew. Looking at the strobe feature. So I'm gonna just slightly lift those lips a bit using the red pencil. And I'm going to add just the tiniest little bit of green. Just a little tiny bit. And I'm going to take the little tiny blending stump for this part right here. Because it's small, there's small details that I don't want to smudge with my hand by accident. I also see there's a little shadow at the very edge of the lip, so I'm going to do some more green and red. Just a little circle kind of at the very edge of the mouth. And I am going to use my finger to blend this out because I don't want it to be too harsh. I'm going to take my peach colored brick and I'm just putting some more color just above the lip on the left side. Now I'm going to take the knead eraser and make a little tiny, little tiny surface with it, like to a point. And I'm going to pick up just underneath the shadow of the corner of the lip, just a little bit. And then pick up a little bit of a highlight on the top part. And I'm going to make a thicker area and go just below the nose and just press in like you're stamping something and just pick that up a bit. Hi Charity, thanks for the great live. I have to force myself to go slow and take my time. Just want to get all it finished. Is going slower or faster better in your professional opinion? Thanks. Going slower is better when you're learning. I had a hard time in high school to slow down. I used to do really fast pieces, but I was a speed artist. And if you slow down, you have more time to see the finer details. You learn more. It looks better. but as you get better at getting those fine details, become faster at doing them, and you still have the same quality as doing it slower. So start slow. I'm going to take a bit of brown for underneath that lip because it's pretty green still. I could add a little bit of red if I wanted to instead. I think I might take a little bit of red as well. Just a teeny tiny bit of red. And blend that. I'm going to blend it towards the right side. Then I'm going to do the shadow that's underneath the chin, like the bottom part of the chin. And I'm still going to be using the green and the red. I like to start off with green because green is more of an undertone. So you want it to be the underlayer. And yes, it does look really weird. It does look really weird at first, but once you put that red on it, it looks really good. And just blending that out upward if you can. Try not to go below that line you created. Using the skin tone, I'm just going just above that shadow, filling in a little bit more space and dragging it across to the right side a little bit. For my other graphite drawings, I do have a brush to help get rid of all that extra pencil marks, like the loose stuff. But with the pastel, it's so fragile or so easy to smudge that I just like to blow on it and try to get it off that way. Okay, there is a little bit of a pink on that, like in that skin tone. I'm gonna make a little bit of a section here on my paper, the spare paper, to make powder. And I need a brush. Where is a nice soft brush? And I'm just dipping a paintbrush in the powder, picking it up a little bit, and then just painting that on. Just little bit of pressure, because it will pick up a little bit of the under color, like the other layers. You don't really want that. Just ever so slightly. And then take your pinky or your, like, just a small area, so you can use your pinky for this, and just rub that in a bit. Every time you use your fingers, you can use either the knead eraser to clean your fingers, like this, or you can just use a paper towel to just wipe them off, because you don't want to have a lot of chalk pastel everywhere on your hands. I also see a little bit of orange in there too, so I'm going to add some orange to, there we go. It's doing the left side and then the bottom right beside the chin on the jawline here. And just blending it out. That's starting to look good. We can move over onto the jaw. I'm going to do that dark line that's underneath it. I wish I could point at mine, but I don't have a jawline. And I'm also going to be using green and red, starting with the green. I'm just doing a small line, like just not too wide, but it is going to blend in once we get into the neck, doing the neck. And then the red on top. And just blend that going in the direction that you put the color on. So just following the line, not going up or down. I'm going to fill in the area, like that large area, with the skin tone. Just adding a little bit. We're not doing too much. And if it's very loose circles, as you can see, it's not filling in the whole area. You can blend it in easily anyways. So yeah, don't have to worry about doing really tight circles like you would with the graphite. I see some orange following the bottom jawline, so I'm going to add some of that. And a bit of brown. I am just going to use the brown pencil for this. Just such a little bit in between that. orange and that sharp jawline. And blending in the direction that that line is going. Maybe a little bit of circular motions. Now there's a shadow that's on the right side going from like the corner of the lip outward. I'm going to add some stuff there. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly I need to add. So it is more of a skin tone, but I'm going to use pink. That's orange. I need pink. And a little bit of orange, I think. Don't need to add a whole bunch of orange, just a little bit. And blend in circular motions. It's moving over just to see the little highlight that's on the right side underneath the lip. Seeing if I can find some little colors. I think there's a bit of pink in it, so I'm going to take that brush again and just pick up a little bit of that powder I made earlier and just kind of dab some pink in there and just push that into the paper. And there's pink going from the bottom right, the top right of the lip up towards the nose. So I'm also going to just dab in some of that color using the brush. And then just kind of push that into the paper, doing a little bit of circular motions there. Adding a little bit of brown from that corner of the lip and pulling it upwards. Okay, I'm going to connect the jawline. I missed a spot just underneath the chin. So I'm going to work on that using green and red. Starting with the green and then doing the red. That's pink. I need red. I think that's pretty good. You can keep on working on this until you're satisfied with the drawing and then move to the next step. But I think this is pretty good. I think I'm going to work from the left side of the neck to the right side, and first I'm going to erase all the lines that are touching that area, just enough that you can still see the lines, but yeah, they're light that they won't poke through the chalk. You won't be able to see the lines on the camera, but I do. I see the lines. So there's a little tiny spot that's black blue colored, and I'm actually going to use the black and the blue for this. It's just a little tiny triangle going on there, just an itty bitty one. And looking for the blue, some blue on top. And we're gonna do the other section. You'll be able to see like little sections of different colors, and you just recreate those shapes that you see with that color, just a little bit at a time. Red and green as always, so we'll start with green. I'm trying to preserve where the necklace is too, so work around that if you can. It always scares me a little bit when I use the green, because I'm like, oh no, it doesn't look right. It always scares me when I do that, but the more you do it, the more you're not so scared of the color green on the skin. And just slightly blending that, softening it up. There's a bit of a highlight. I'm gonna do in between the highlight and the shadow first. That mid-tone between the two. And just tracing where that highlight is, just around it. So again, I'm going to be using green and red. And, oh, yeah, I should have done a little bit of chalk underneath, white chalk. I'm just debating on whether or not I should or should not. It's always guesswork. Guesswork to the best of your knowledge. I think I'll leave that really dark area without the white, like that square right there, and then I'll fill in the other side where the light's hitting her with white underneath. What artist inspires you, old or new? My mother. My mother is my main inspiration. I can show you one of her pieces. It's actually behind me. Actually, I got a couple pieces of hers. I'll take a quick second here. So just give me a second here. I remember drawing side by side with her before I was even in school. So here's one of her oil paintings. This is of me when I was a baby. There is a painting that goes with this, which is a blue one of my nephew being held with one hand. And they are both the first day of our lives. So I think that's cute. One day I'll see if I can return it to its twin. Well, not twin, but like it's, yeah. And then here's one of her drawings, and this is me when I graduated. I don't look the same, I know. It's been like 12 years roughly since that picture. But yeah, she's my main inspiration. But yeah, my mom is my inspiration. I always wanted to be just like her. But now she's proud of me and what I have accomplished with my art, and sadly she lost the ability to do so. I tried teaching her how to use the Vinci app for a little bit before she lost the ability to use it or do any art. So she did trace though. She was a tracer. So she used some form. It still makes me sad that she can't do it anymore. So green and red. Would she stay up late and early? Depends on, it was depending on her mood. She was manic depressive. So if she was sick, she would do an entire piece overnight. And if she was depressed, she would just not do anything. So I need to narrate what I'm doing. I added a little bit of skin tone to that. I think I'm still going to add a little bit more green and red to it. Just slowly adding up the building up the layers. There we go. No time to be sad about Mom. You won't be here. You wouldn't be here where you are. Thanks for sharing, Charity. Looking for red. Where did it go? There we go. And just blending that. I'm just trying to add up, build up the layers so it looks smooth and it's the right shade. Just red and green, just adding a little by little. Circular motions. I am doing a little bit more tight of circular motions because I don't have that base white, but I also wanted it to be dark enough. That's why I decided to do that. Just every so often, I'm going to be checking the colors of the areas that I'm coloring in. This is kind of more of a purple kind of color where that lighter area is. Just trying to figure out which one I want to use. I think I might do like a purpley pink. So I'm bringing out my chalk bricks. And just adding ever so little bits. I'm just dotting it with this one. I don't want to fill it up too much. And then I'm also going to add some of that peach. Just to see how this works. And then blend. Maybe dotting it wasn't a good idea, but you know what? We all make mistakes. Just a tiny bit of white over top of it. Just doesn't look too bad. I think I'll add some more red and green in some areas. Not a lot, but I'm just trying to make that shape. Just create the shape a little bit better. You know, there's a really dark triangular shape next to it. And I'm also going to be using red and green for that, but a little bit more than I was in that other section. A little bit darker. And all you need to do is just add more than what you did before. Thank you. And then red over top of that to create that brown, that more lively brown. And blend. See, do we need to add more? I think we might need to add more on the bottom. Kind of starting to fade. The shadow's starting to fade into a lighter section. I was scared there. I thought I was using the wrong color for a minute. I'm not putting as much pressure. I think they call it ombre effect, where it changes color slowly or changes shade slowly. I know they use that term for hair, but I don't know if they use that term for drawing. I'm going to work on that thicker shadow that follows the jawline. I'm just checking colors. Every so often I'll check colors on the tablet. And still using the red and green to follow that shadow there. And then red on top. Sorry, I forgot to talk. And blend in that direction of that shadow. And take a look at it as a whole. The neck. I think I'm going to add the white now to the rest of the area and for the under piece, which I should have done. I don't know. Need to pick up that line, erase that up, erase that a little bit. So I'm just filling in that whole side with white, and then I'm gonna just push it into the paper, blending it in, leaving a place that, a part of it that's easy to blend and easy to pick up color if needed. Okay, I'm gonna do that little V. We already got part of the V done, but we're gonna work on that little V shape. And we're gonna use red and green. Just want to double check to make sure I grabbed the right pencil. So it's a little bit darker on the bottom, gets a little light on the side, and then there's a little darker area. And then red on top. I'm not going to blend it in quite yet. I'm going to work a little bit more in that area with some other shades and colors. Just doing a little bit of brown around the top part. And adding some of that skin tone in there. Now I'll blend to see what I need to do. Okay. I think I need to add a little bit more shadow, kind of like a rounded shadow above the V. So I'm going to use some green and red. Just trying to see the little differences using that strobe feature on the app. Just really just focusing on all the little details. Just gonna pick up a little bit of that really dark shadow, just using a little small area of the knead eraser, just kind of stamping it, not pushing too hard. And then I'm also gonna pick up a little tiny area. It's like a circular area beside that. And also just stamping it. And then there's like another little circle beside that on the bottom. And then just kind of blending that in, softening up those edges a bit. There's a little bit of pink. So I'm going to take that paintbrush again and dip it into that powder we made earlier, and then just dab that on. Just around the highlighted area where it touches the shadow. Okay, I'm gonna add that peach to the side here. Skin tone. Whatever it is. Something. Just filling in that whole area. And blending it in. I'm not filling in that really bright highlight yet. I see some yellow and some orange. I'm going to do some orange first. And I'm going to be adding some red and greens on the other side, closer to the center, because it's not dark enough. One of my favorite things about chalk pastel is it's really forgiving. Like, you can make a mistake and then you can easily erase it and start all over again. But also the negative part about that is it's easy to accidentally smudge it. So it's got its pros, it's got its cons. It's been a while since I've been drawing with pastels. I did a lot of it in high school. I did one more recently, but high school was like the last time I was really into it. Just adding the red over top of that. And blending. I'm also going to blend that orange too I did earlier. Okay, I see some pink. I'm going to add some of that. I am just going to put the pink brick, just actually straight from the brick. And just dabbing in some, just making some dots, because I don't want to add too much, just a little bit. And blending that. Okay, it is the halfway point of this video, so we're going to take a bit of a break and come back, do a little Q&A, and then start drawing again. So just give me a minute and I'll come back. Okay, I am back. Let me just change the view. I'm going to finish this cup of coffee I had this morning and now it's cold. I don't mind my coffee cold, to be honest. So if there's not going to be any questions or just interrupt me while I blabber, I am not the app developer. I did not come up with the idea. Sam is the one that's behind the idea. I am just an artist that really loves the app, and now I do some fun stuff for the developer. So it's great. And I hope to be doing live videos as long as possible. I know I just for the new year, but hopefully it gets into something bigger and I can do this for a while. So I don't want to quit anytime soon. So if you have any artist friends out there who you think would like to use the app, invite them to join. And on the wall there, the jacket, I can do some fun little crafts. This is my first time painting on fabric. Like, I've done a few little things, but like I've never painted on fabric before recently. So I can teach you what I learned from my mistakes on how to paint on fabric in the future. I am a portrait artist. Before I started working with the Vinci app, I did commissions. I did commissions with graphite pencil and colored pencil. So that's my specialty. But I am having a lot of fun doing a bunch of different crafts too, so I can also do that as well. What is your favorite painter? My mother. My mother's my favorite painter. I'll show you. I already showed it once today, but I'll show it again. This is my mom's work. I need to hang it up somewhere. But yeah, this is what my mom did. And that is a painting of me when I was a baby. I'll show you closer up so you can see some more details. All that I've learned, most of the stuff that I've learned was from her and from my art teacher in high school. I didn't go into any college or university or art school after that. The rest of it's self-taught. So, but I don't have anything against art schools. They teach you really good technique and theories, which are very helpful, but it's not necessary, I don't think, to take an art class after high school, or at least like college and university. So, and you can find some pretty good information on YouTube with a bunch of different artists. So, yeah. Finally done my morning coffee at 11 o'clock. And now it's time to drink water. Drink water. I am available for questions all the time on the DaVinci app group. So you can tag me in any questions you have for posts, and I will answer them. And if I can't answer them, I'll direct you to Sam, because he's the developer. He knows a lot more about the tech part of it. And if you do not have the reference photo I'm working on, there are links in the description where you can find it either in the Facebook group, or you can find it on my personal Facebook page, which is Charity Lowe's Art. So you can download it and use it to draw along with me. A cup of coffee is always a good idea. Always. But make sure you hydrate after. Anyways, I think that's it for that, but you guys can continue talking to me. I really do actually enjoy it when you guys do talk to me or ask questions during the live. It's great. I don't care if it means that I have to stop drawing to show you something. Just please talk to me. So we're gonna get going again. You live in Europe. I am Canadian and Sam is American. I really hope that nothing gets out of control with stuff, because I don't want to do anything. I feel like Americans and Canadians are family. Like, I have a lot of American family, and it makes me sad what's going on. So there is a little bit of yellow in the highlight, so I'm gonna add that. If I can find my yellow. Just blend that in. Don't forget to clean your fingers every so often. It's good to do it every time you blend. I'm gonna add a little bit of brown. And just blend that as well. Now we're gonna do the left side, and I've heard it called the nuclear. I can't say it. I'm not gonna try. I just failed at it. I'm just laughing at myself. I can say it perfectly in my head, but I can't say it out loud for some reason. So red and green for the shadow. That's just above the collarbone. That's another word for it that's easier to say. I'm trying to preserve the area of where the necklace is, but it's not perfect with it. and red over top of that. That's pink. I need red. And now we'll blend that. I'm going to blend it upwards because there's a highlight just underneath it. I don't want to blend it into that highlight. Okay, I'm going to do the shadow underneath the collarbone. I'm going to add some skin tone underneath that. Push that into the paper. Green, not too much, just a little bit, just to make it darker. We don't want it as dark as directly underneath the neck. And red over top of that to neutralize the green. And just mixing colors is the worst for me. I can't mix them properly. Just practice. If you don't want to mix colors, you can go ahead and just use brown instead of the red and green. But the thing with that is that it looks more like, instead of looking like skin, it looks more like pottery. So it's very dead looking, if that makes any sense. Because we do have a lot of like blues and green undertone. You'll learn to see it the more you draw, but it is there. Like our veins are blue that you can see. But it's the reds and the pinks and the orange that's over top of that that makes it look. It's intimidating or you feel like you can't do it, then go ahead and use brown. This is your art piece. You get to choose what you want to do with it. Okay, I'm going to finish that that's just above the collarbone using red and green. Starting with the green. I always start with the green because we want to see that red on top, not underneath, Because if you do it the other way around, it's more likely that you'll see the green. And then red. And blend. Blend, blend, blend. I think that's good. Taking that skin tone, and now I'm going to just put a little bit on the collarbone. And a little bit more on the right side of that collarbone. Because there's a highlight on the left side. I'm going to drag some of that shadow from the top and the bottom. Mostly the top. So I'm going to add a little bit more green and red just on top of the collarbone. And a tiny bit on the bottom upwards. And red. And blend that. It's like a transition color, that's what it is. I'm going to pick that up a bit because I kind of made it a little bit too dark. Using the knead eraser and just kind of stamping it to pick up a little bit of that. And then I'm going to put a little bit more pressure where that highlight is to pick up that shadow or that highlight. There is a touch of pink on the center part. And I'm just going to take that brush, pick up some of that powder we made earlier, and just dab it in there. And then just kind of press that in to the paper. There's a lot of pink down on her neck because the fabric she's wearing, the light's bouncing off the pink fabric and bouncing onto her neck. What kind of pastel pencils do you use? I use very cheap, bought somewhere in the market a few first paintings were great, but then I broke them while I painted, but still don't know how I did it. When I'm doing my videos, I'm using the cheap products. Well, this one isn't very cheap. This one is I guess it's General's pastel, so this is cheaper. And then for this, the blocks I used, I don't know if it's a brand that you can find anywhere, but it's called Artist Loft, and it's like, it's the cheapest version you can get. I don't recommend them, but I just want to show people that you can do good pieces of artwork with budget-friendly materials. But make sure it's a medium you want to do, that you're very passionate about, before you buy really expensive stuff. So, yeah. They are pretty hard, yes. You broke the pencils. They are very fragile. Regardless of what brand you're getting, chalk pastels are very fragile. So, sharpen with a handheld sharpener, like this handheld sharpener. Don't use electric sharpeners, and do your best to not drop them, because that's the major issue, is accidentally dropping them. Then the inside of the pencil starts to break. But yeah, I'm not using expensive materials here. Just budget-friendly stuff. And there's a circular shadow above the collarbone on the right. So we're going to add a little bit of green and a little bit of red. And blend that. And then I'm going to do the same amount of shadow underneath the collarbone on the right. And we're going to add the skin tone above the circular shadow, above the collarbone, and over into the center. If you can master using cheap products, then you have mastered it. You have mastered the ability to use the expensive products. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow just above, just below where that yellow was before, to kind of combine the two, because there was a little bit of a white spot in between that highlight and what I just colored in, and we're blending that in. I see a little bit of a shadow. I think I'm gonna wait until I start doing the shirt for that little line that goes between the shirt and the neck. Just adding some skin tone. And then there's a little shadow in between the collarbones. I'm going to use the green and the red again. General rule with most products, most mediums, is light to dark or little by little, depending on the type of materials you're using. I am looking for red. There's red. I'm going to add a little bit of pink to that collarbone on the right using the paintbrush and that powder. The powder was made by rubbing the pastel on a spare piece of paper. I'm just going to dab it, push it into the paper. And just push that into the paper. And then we're going to do that little shadow between the breasts. You know what? I don't know what it is, but I've always felt awkward drawing in the breast area and lower parts. I just don't know why. I just think it's kind of funny. So green and red, that's not too dark. And red. And blend that kind of upwards in a V shape. gonna fill in the entire area with the skin tone. This is fairly dark. We can add quite a bit of color to it. And blend that in. Oh, I heard I cut out a little bit there. Shadow more color to it to make it darker. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Okay, I'm just trying to think, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to still use the green and the red. I'm just gonna slowly add more to it, just one layer at a time. And red. I just had to clean the tip of this pencil. I just dabbed it onto the knead eraser because there was a lot of other colored chalk on it, and it wasn't quite, it wasn't sticking onto the paper anymore, the color I was trying to use. No, I think I'm going to use some brown. And blend that. The slight highlight here and here. So I'm just taking the knead eraser, making like a fairly nice size a circle on the bottom, just dabbing it and then blending. And just a little bit more green and red shadowing. Just in between the breast. Under the collarbone. And we could also do that little line. That line that meets the shirt. And some red. I think I'm going to sharpen the pencil. So I'm just using the pencil sharpener that came with the kit. There. And oh, yeah, you don't want to use electric pencil sharpeners because that will wreck the chalk. And then just blending that in. Hopefully that is good. I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to be working on the necklace. So I'm going to erase the lines where the necklace is using my Mono eraser, which is a mechanical eraser. I'm going to clean the edges, the tip of it. And so that's what it looks like. And then I'm just going to go across, just lifting up that chalk. Just tracing the line of like the section of the necklace. Just tracing it. Doing it on both sides, and then I'll also trace, like erase the lucky 4-leaf clover. I couldn't think of the word for a second. Thank you. And all those who've been liking the video, it's really much appreciated. I'm really happy about that. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just gonna do like some dots, trying to mimic the chain. I haven't done chain before, so I'm just kind of trying to do my best with what I've done before, what I know. The clasp is showing on her. We can do the clasp too. I think I'm just gonna do some circles for this, actually, not dots, just small little circles. And we can use black on the inner part of the necklace where there's not very much light shining, and then we can go and switch to a gray. I'm just doing little circles because I don't know how to do this. I am not going to pretend that I am a hyper-realistic artist. I'm going to add a little bit of black on the bottom parts of this. And then a little bit of black on the top. I'm kind of doing like upwards curves. And then the 4-leaf clover, I'm going to outline in black. Kind of like little heart shapes. And do some lines that are going inward in each, and a diagonal. And let's work on the other side. I'm going to do some shadows on the top, some dark shadows on the top part of the necklace. Kind of doing some curves, following that line we made earlier. It's not going to be exact to what we have, so yeah. And then some other curves going the other direction. I'm just going to follow that pattern all the way down to the center. Just curves outward on the top and then a little bit like upward, and then curves going the other direction in the center of the necklace. Just little teeny tiny curves. And then we can take the teeny tiny little blending stump. Just a little teeny tiny one. Make sure it's clean, so you can rub it on the sandpaper that you get from all the drawing that you get from drawing sets, and then just slightly, very lightly blend it. Don't want to put too much pressure. Let's pretend it's this light, soft pressure like a feather. And then we can take our mechanical eraser. Got this off eBay. It has like a little button that turns on and it makes it spin. And then we could just put a few little highlights just by dotting, just putting little dots in there. And I'm also going to do some highlights in the clover, doing a center line and then a couple of lines going outwards. Now, it's definitely not perfect, but it does say it's like shows it's a necklace. You know it's a necklace. I think I might want to work on that nose ring a little bit. I think just a little bit of black on the bottom and on the top. Not too much. I think that's good. Now we can work on hair. We won't get very far on the hair today, but we can get it started. The first thing we're going to want to do, well, is erase the lines. So erase the lines to the point where you can barely see them. You will not see them in the video, but I can still see them. And then we're going to take some white chalk and cover that entire area of hair with the white chalk so that it's easier to pull up some stray hairs later. I'm going to be using more of the bricks for this section, at least at first, because we're going to do the basic colors, the big sections of the colors. And then we can use the pencils for the smaller details. And push that into the paper. Okay. I'm going to work on the roots, which are actually blue. They're blue, black, or navy blue. Honestly, I think, I'm debating on what color to do it. Should I do the blue-black? The navy blue? No, you can, like this, you don't have to worry about the details yet. So Just add the colors and the basic shapes. I think I might use some opposite tones or some warm tones underneath this as well. I'm adding black on top of that blue. Oh, that's actually not looking too bad. Although you can mostly just see the black now. We'll do the dark tones first. And again, the chalk is pretty forgiving, so you don't have to worry too much. I'm actually going to use brown for the rest of this. Brown and black. And I'm just doing the basic shadows and highlights. Not too worried about detail at this point. We're just filling it in. Now I'm not doing black over all of the brown, just a little bit. This side I'm not going to put any black. And then the light tones. Or we can do mid-tones. Should we do mid-tones? I think mid-tones. So this is like, we don't want to do bright yellow because her hair is not bright yellow. It's more of like a gray-ish color with a touch of brown. I'm just trying to think what we should do. Let's see what colors we have. I think I got something that's good enough for this. Just working with the colors I have. So it's kind of like a Van Gogh gold almost. So her hair is going to be more yellow at first. So we're going to do the mid-tones, and then we're going to call it a day. If you're having a hard time knowing where to put colors on the hair, just squint your eyes and it'll just make things more basic shapes. Like you'll see more of the basic shapes in the individual hairs. So now we're just going to blend it. I'm going to do the dark sections first. And then clean my fingers and do the lighter areas. So that's what we have for today. Let's take a look at everything. Okay, and so if you do not have the app and you wish to try the app, I do have promo codes for that. Charity, all capitals, for iOS. And for Android, you need to figure out how to contact me. You can send a message in the comments below, and I'll see if I can send it through there. If not, find me on my personal Facebook page, which is under Charity Lowe's Art, or you can join the Da Vinci iApp group, and you can find me there as well. Anyways, I'm planning on doing this for a while, so please invite your friends that want to learn how to draw so that we can keep this going. Anyways, let's read this comment here. Thank you for the chat. I need to go, and I will finish your chat soon. You are great. Aw, thank you. I really do appreciate it. This has been the best live so far, so let's keep it going. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week at the same time. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day.